All right, guys, welcome to the first episode of my podcast, which is called Belugaism. We have Brownsmagic as a guest. Browns, please introduce yourself.
Hello.
Go ahead.
What do you want me to say?
Like, who are you? What do you do? Yeah, just introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is... Well, my YouTube name is Brownsmagic. Tip.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much
So what
it.
we're... Gotcha. All right. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be basically having a panel on tweets. We have a few spicy tweets here that, are going to have a heated conversation, I'm sure. We're just going to discuss these in a panel format. So I'm going to read the first tweet. It's from the infamous Peter Olivia. And it goes like this. So Mikasa is hated for saying/screaming the name of the main character, the person she loves most in the world, in a most effortless situations or when she's anxious about his current status. Damn, almost like she cares for him. How dare she show affection? All right, so in alphabetical order, Andy, tell us your thoughts about that tweet.
Yeah, so what this tweet I think is conveying is that, their usage of talking about how Mikasa will, shout out Eren all the time. And they say, oh, well, it sounds to me like she cares about him. Well, you have to remember that Mikasa had childhood trauma from the cabin and everything she endured there. And, she kind of, Ackermans have this thing where they will, find a host or something like that. And we constantly hear, as an example, Levi say Irwin a lot throughout the series. But I think that Mikasa has an unhealthy obsession with Eren because of what she went through as a child and because of what ultimately she had to experience throughout the past 4 seasons. But I think that this person was trying to just sarcastically say that it's almost like she cares about her, but I would argue it's obsession. So that's basically where I stand on that. But you can go ahead and talk now, Beluga.
Yeah, I totally 100% agree with you, Andy. It was definitely an unhealthy obsession. And I've had this conversation with EDs and ENs all the time. They always try to deny the truth and say, oh, no, it's sweet. It's not sweet. It's toxic. It's annoying. She disobeys. But the prime example is she disobeys orders multiple times. She got Levi injured. Levi told her in the field fighting arc, he said, don't kill her. Don't kill her. She's too dangerous. Don't kill her. Not even 4 seconds later. Well, 4 seconds, but not even 4 minutes later, she goes directly disobeys the order. And this would not be the first time he does it. In fact, Mikasa disobeys orders so many times on account of Eren that Eren actually has to go out and discipline her by headbutting her because no one in the military disciplines her until way late in season 3. And another example of one of this toxic obsession, even worse, is in 126, where they're trying to stop the rumbling because it's, according to them, it's evil. But Mikasa causes this big rift in the alliance, and practically goes against her mission by trying to fight him simply because she proposed a suggestion of killing Eren, which should be the main priority because the priority is to stop rumbling. If someone's doing a crime, a mass killing, you don't say, well, you talk to him. You say, let's go kill him and put him out, right? You don't say, oh, let's go talk to Hitler. You say, let's put a bullet in his skull. So, yeah.
Mikasa's Eren obsession, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing narratively. I don't think it's horrible. It is a character flaw that she has, which makes the ending all that much more unsatisfying. That her story sort of ends still revolved around Eren when her character arc was moving on from him. So the Eren, that doesn't bother me at all because that's her character flaw. So, obviously she's going to be all about Eren. And she has her moment where it's like, okay, maybe there's going to be some development when they're on the boat on the way to Marley, and she's like, damn, what version of Eren have I been seeing this whole time? That was the point. That was kind of like the climax of her character arc. Okay, what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna move on, or like what's gonna happen? But then you see in Path, she's like, oh, Eren, just come back. Like, we want to share your burdens. And, well, everybody's doing that, right? But, like, she is too.
Yeah.
And at the end, you know, a lot of people have so much, like, fake, profound, pseudo-intellectual shit stuff to say about the ending. How, no, Mikasa is the bravest warrior and her love was the truest and purest because not only does she kill her most beloved, but she still holds on to him in her own way. And it's like, that's not satisfying because her story ends revolving around him. And now what I've gotten into a lot of arguments on Twitter with ending defenders about, and Aramikas, is the fact that if Isayama is the brilliant writer that we all know he is, he would intentionally write Mikasa doing something, you know, going about her own day, handling her own business, and then, oh, look, a bird flies past her window or perches on her lap or something. Oh, it's a cute little Eren reminder. Okay, cool. That would be a Mikasa sort of conclusion. That would be, okay, yeah, she killed him and she moved on. Instead, we see her die in the scarf. And then people be, oh, it's a symbol of the bond they made. It's so beautiful. Like, yeah, it is. Two things can be true at once. It is this symbol of the bond, and you can say whatever you want. Oh, when she was flying to kill him, and she takes the scarf out of her pants or wherever she got it from, her shirt, and she wraps it back around herself. It is literally headcanon to say that, oh, she got over him. She just tied the scarf to say this is her own way of, oh, she's moved on, but now the scarf means X, Y, or Z. No, the scarf always represented Em, and the fact that she dies in it, and the fact that we never see it off of her neck after she kills him, in my opinion, means that, at the very least, her character was intentionally set to not move on from Eren ever. That's the best case scenario. Isayama's a good writer. If that ending was supposed to portray Mikasa moving on or progressing as a character or anything, he failed. Big F. Period.
Wow, that was quite the speech. Okay, does anyone disagree? We probably have 2 or 3 people that disagree. We'll have to take turns talking to her about this.
I disagree with some of the stuff.
Any takers? All right, I'll do myself.
Wait, can you hear me?
Some of the stuff? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have a long-ass spiel, so go ahead.
Oh, okay, I just disagree with you on the point that you're saying she didn't move on. I mean, she married somebody else. Like, she had
Does
a
that
kid
matter?
with him.
Does that matter
So,
if he's wrapped in the
yes.
scar?
Then again, she kept visiting the grave over and over again. So yeah, actually, I'll give you that. Fuck Mikasa. Oh, sorry, no cursing. Damn it, I forgot. Okay, just mute me. You can go ahead, Beluga.
Wait, you sound far away, like a million miles.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay, listen, Browns. What do you mean by getting over Eren? What do you mean by that exactly?
Her entire arc was to separate from Eren. Her entire arc, like mentally and emotionally.
Like blacking them out of her mind?
No. That's the reason why I brought up like something sweet could have been a reminder of Eren. Like maybe a bird flies into her window and perches on her thigh or something, and she sheds a tear. Oh shit, Eren! But you know, we see her doing something that has nothing to do with Aaron to show that, visual storytelling. I've moved on. I'm happy with my life. Instead of every single time we see Mikasa, it's Aaron centered. Oh, the family's going to the tree. Oh, she's dead in a grave wrapped tightly in a scarf. Oh, she's a bird, puts the scarf around her. Thank you, and all that. Like, to me, it seems It seems like it reverses her decision to kill him in a way.
Why would you? I actually would say the opposite, because in 139, before she married John, she did kill him, yeah, but she still seemed to be very miserable and sad the fact that he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
But after she marries John, she seems to be deriving some sort of happiness from that. So in that sense, it's actually the opposite, where she actually does have a completely different, separate life outside Aaron. That part of her life is a big part of her life, and it brings her joy. I mean, remember, she had kids, so she had a whole. She was a mother and she was a wife at the same time. So that's
okay. Why not have the scarf folded up in her drawer, and then I don't know. We see a window POV of I guess one of her kids opening the drawer. Mom, what's this? It's the scarf. She sheds a tear. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Instead of having it wrapped tight around her neck, literally like a collar.
Okay, what's the difference though? See, that's my thing. What do you mean? What's the difference? Yeah, because if you're saying she has to separate emotionally, or mentally from Aaron, what difference does it make whether the scarf is in the drawer, whether it's on her neck?
The difference.
What matters is her actions and how she is.
No. The difference that it makes is her wearing that scarf binds her to Aaron. The action of wearing it. You see when. What do you mean how? He wrapped that scarf around her.
No,
he
I'm asking how.
Wrapped it around herself every day since. And then when Aaron's like, "I hate you," she finally takes that off, and she's like, "Look, nah, like, okay, fine, like, so I'm separating myself from Aaron." Her taking that scarf off was symbolic, like, was it not?
I think it was symbolic of something negative, not something positive. What was positive was 123, 138. That was just, I feel like that was supposed to be a very negative and dark time.
The difference is the scarf in a drawer means that, hey, I'm keeping this thing that's special from my past that symbolizes Aaron. I'm keeping it safe, but this isn't my life anymore.
Yeah.
I've moved. I have a husband. Instead of wearing it, presumably every single day, that scarf holds so much weight and so much symbolism. Ending defenders will say, "Oh, the scarf is the red string of fate. Oh, in Japanese."
Wait. None of us. This podcast is saying that.
I know.
But
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
So if the scarf is to symbolize the red string of fate and lovers and whatnot, her wearing that scarf is her still being bound to Aaron. Isn't that a little weird that she's married and she's still wearing this red string of fate?
A couple of things. Number one, first off, I never said it was red string of fate. How I interpret it is just a symbol of Aaron's love for her, warmth, home, things like that. Now it's a memento. Number two is that you're saying if it's in a drawer, that means that she still has it, she still loves it, she still has feelings for Aaron. Maybe not feelings, but she still, likes Aaron, but she's devoted to her husband. My thing is, well, that's arbitrary. What if someone were to say it shouldn't be in a drawer because that means that she's still attached to Aaron? It actually should be thrown away, and that means she's fully devoted to her husband. It's all arbitrary, and it's all personal in a way. What you would think is, okay, this action, me putting this in the drawer, this communicates, and this means that I am devoted to my husband. What that is, that's your goalpost. Because the goalpost could be different. Because I'm saying I'm still good.
You have a girlfriend, right? Let's just say. Let's say you have a girlfriend.
I've had girlfriends, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You have a girlfriend, and she still wears this hoodie that her boyfriend gave her on her birthday. Mm-hmm. Around you. Mm-hmm. How does that feel to you?
See, this is a problem with these analogies. Is that this situation is extremely specific. Number one, a couple of things. Number one, Jean also loved Aaron. Well, not romantically, but he still loved him. Number one. Number two, Mikasa
It didn't matter.
Little.
John wasn't there for the scarf. That doesn't matter.
I know. No, what I mean is that Jean, can understand liking Aaron. Is what I'm saying. Number one. Number two is that there's this pesky little fact that she killed him. So there's that. So if I was in a situation and my ex-girlfriend killed Aaron and I also liked Aaron, then yes, I'd be fine with her having a scarf. Especially again if she raises my kids for decades. That would be perfectly fine with that.
Bro,
but my question is, why would I be better off with it in a drawer? That's my thing. Like, why is it a drawer? What if another man says, I don't want it on her neck, I don't want it in a drawer, I want it in the trash?
That's a step further. That's that's cool too. That's taking it. Like you said, it depends on the person whether it's often in a drawer or often in the garbage or often in Aaron's grave or something. That depends on the person. Mm-hmm. Me personally, I feel like just put away is fine enough, right? Because John liked him too, right? John liked him too. He would understand the scarf still being intact somewhere, but the fact that your wife is wearing it still, when you know good and well your wife would rather, if Aaron was alive, do you think they would be married? Absolutely not. It's
Browns,
calling John a dumbass an idiot to think that he doesn't know that fact.
Well, Browns, I'm saying, what if John is fine with it being on her neck and so is Mikasa? And I'm sure she didn't wear it all the time, every day like she used to.
Listen. It doesn't matter if John. She wears it often. It doesn't matter if John. It doesn't matter if Ymir. It doesn't matter if freaking Swoggle, if Pixis. It doesn't matter who is fine with her wearing the scarf. The point is, the scarf represents this bond she had with Aaron, and she's still wearing it. And her arc was moving past this bond. And the fact that concluding her story very Aaron-centered, it's visual storytelling to tell you she never moved on. Her arc was reversed, pretty much. She killed him, and it by the visuals, by the looks of it, she never was able to move on.
I'll say this.
She still couldn't move on. She got married, she still couldn't move on, and that's why she's wearing the scarf.
I would say the only valid point you have is the visual storytelling, which I still blame the editors for. They should have given him as much space as he wanted to, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, visual storytelling, yes, it's always Aaron. You're absolutely right. That is definitely a thing. However, in the actual story, we know she doesn't spend every moment at the grave. She visits the grave. Even if she visits it weekly, she still spends the vast majority of her time with her husband. And again,
prove it.
The end
goal.
Prove what?
Prove these flaming hot Cheetos ain't bussin' though.
Look, guess what? I could easily say she sleeps at the grave. Prove me wrong.
Okay, let's be just what's a reasonable, what in a story implying? What do you think is implying? How often do you think she visits it? I said a week to be generous, but do you think it's more than that?
I feel like that doesn't matter. What matters here is the visual storytelling show that she very devoted.
The visual storytelling takes it back to what's actually happening.
Day. She can go.
You think she goes there every day? You think she goes there twice a day?
We don't know.
No. Fine. Reasonably. Just be reasonable for a second. Do you think that she visits there every day? What do you actually think happens?
The point is the impact of showing her there, the impact of showing the passage of time for Mikasa at this grave site. The impact of that is to show that she is devoted. Still, the impact of showing the scarf around her neck in the grave, she died in that scarf. I feel like you guys separate the impact and I don't know. I don't understand how
I don't understand. Well, she raised 3 children. I don't know if we're all young here, but being a mother is a very time-consuming job. So is being a wife. So and they stayed married. They stayed married for decades. decades. That takes commitment. That takes work.
If it was
That
so important, you know how we see a little cute scene of Historia on the farm with the farmer and the candles and the baby. Where's a scene of Mikasa at home with John, the baby?
100% valid. I agree. Totally. 100% valid.
Right.
And I hope he can improve. I said, visual storytelling, definitely was a fuck up for sure. Whether it's Isayama's fault or whether it's fucking, I'm breaking my own rule. Whether it's Isayama, whether it's Kodansha, I don't really know and I don't care. You're right. Definitely visual storytelling is there. However, I think we can all agree as just reasonable people that she visited the grave and she spent most of her time at home, and especially considering the fact that the results that you put out, you see her married to her husband for decades, which is, puts blood, sweat, and tears into a marriage. Every marriage has to have that for her to survive for decades. And she raises, three children, and she has grandchildren. So I think,
and she has the scarf tied around her neck the entire time.
And that is
for a reason. That is for a reason. Like, you're supposed to look at that scarf and be like, Eren. That's what you're supposed to think of when you see her in that scarf. Eren. Just like her. When she puts that scarf on, she thinks of Eren. It's not all this flowery stuff. Home, warmth, kindness, light in the darkness. It's not just that. It's also Eren. It's overwhelmingly Eren. He tells her, please, move on from me. Please. That's some of the last things he says to her. No, I can't. Pulls the scarf out of her butt and wraps it around her neck. That's for a reason. And, like, you can say what you want. You can say, no, actually, she does that because the scarf has a new meaning now. It means sacrificing your love for the world. Anybody can pull anything out of a hat and say it means X or Y or Z. But the fact is, what the story shows you through the pictures, through the words, is that she was never able to move on. Sure, she had a kid.
Or her husband. That's shown in the picture. Are we just gonna ignore the impact? I'm saying, like, keep talking about the visual storytelling. Are we just gonna ignore the impact of her having a lifelong marriage? I just don't understand why this keeps getting.
Listen, I could very easily say that's to show how pathetic it is that even though she has a family now, she still can't let go of this goddamn scarf. Now, what if I said that was his intentions?
Damn, bro, we still on the first tweet. The first tweet, bro. Come on. I went to go be right back, and they still on the first tweet.
Free enough, I guess, right? Despite all of that, she still
There's like
can't
17
let go
more
of
to go, bro.
Eren, and she wears him around her neck. That's symbolic. That's showing you she has not moved on. You sound very far away. Very, very far away.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean by move on? Because here's my thing.
Maybe
you said, like, he was kind of vague. Yeah. He said, letting go of him mentally, emotionally.
Listen, the story starts with Mikasa, Eren, right? You even said yourself she has an unhealthy obsession with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Then we see her kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And based on what we see in the end, it looks as if she regretted that decision every day of her life.
Really? Okay. Well,
or at the very least, still madly in love with him. At the very least.
Okay. When I say moving on, I mean loosening her bonds of love. She's dictated by Eren, and she's an unhealthy obsession with him. Moving on is simply, finding a life outside of Eren. It could be with Eren, but not to the unhealthy obsession that it was beforehand. As I said, she carves out a life for herself. A very big part of her life is not Eren. It has nothing to do with Eren. And the other thing is that she's still madly in love with him. How could she be married to someone but still be madly in love? How is that going to work? That doesn't make any sense.
How did Grisha marry Carla? How did Grisha marry Carla when he still loved Dina? How does that happen?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great. Exactly. A great.
You can love two people once. That's the thing. Like, and another thing is, you don't have to be in love to get married and have kids with somebody. Look at Ymir Fritz. Oh, well, I guess that was love, right?
She never. There was nothing unhealthy about Grisha with Dina or Grisha. Well,
I didn't say that.
Grisha with Dina and Grisha and Carla. That's another great example. If you're comparing Mikasa to Grisha, then I will 100% take that. Excellent. He was fully devoted to his family, and he loved both of his wives. What more could you want, right? What more could you want? Dina never interfered, not once, with his relationship with Carla. All right, we gotta keep this.
All right.
Say one last thing. The people have been asking me to move on to the next tweet. So you can have the last word, and we'll move on to the next tweet.
Oh, me?
Yeah, just say what you can have the last word, and we'll move on to the next tweet. People want to move on.
All right, final thoughts. If, like Beluga said, the scarf was, a new light of life or whatever, then, or it shows that she can move on from Eren and whatever you said, I think it would be much more effective, and it would make more sense to show her happy with her kids in at least one panel, or happy with John in at least one panel. Keep the entire story the same, keep the entire ending the same. Show her happy with those kids or with John once. And I have no argument. But no, there's nothing like that, so she's still upset.
So who's after Brown in the alphabetical order?
Oh God,
we didn't.
No, we're done with Scarf.
Before we move on, I want to say one thing in terms of the context of the tweet. So basically, it says that Mikasa is hated for screaming out Eren's name. And I must say to that you have not watched any anime in your life, because if you watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid, name one Z fighter that doesn't scream out Goku's name. Name one character, bro. Name one.
That's different, bro.
I actually don't watch much anime, so I can't say anything on that. But
I see what he's saying.
Yeah.
All right. Wait. Okay. I thought we were giving everyone a chance to talk. What?
All right. Next week.
Okay, fine.
Next week. Hold on. Pig. I gave the floor to you guys. What do you mean?
I don't even get to go to bat for Mikasa.
You get
Am
the
I
last
allowed?
word. Go ahead.
Am I allowed? Okay. Cool. I'll try to speak.
Wait, I'm not the moderator. My bad.
Yeah.
All right,
No, definitely. Go ahead. Please.
Yeah, I'll try to speak on this. Okay, so first of all,
Podcast.
Mikasa's scarf, as far as I can see it, takes on a different meaning after 138. So at the very end of Eren's life, he tells her to forget about her. She willfully chooses not to and puts on the scarf. The scarf then, after that point, is a symbol of her choosing to remember him. And that's why she takes it to his grave, that's why she goes to his grave. She, in her last moments with Eren, chose to always remember him. And then, that's why she goes to his grave, that's why she wears a scarf. That's why she's buried with it. And the whole, scarf gene thing, if you married a widow, and that widow had, a ring that reminded her of her dead husband, that she had to kill for some reason,
you
I
put
would
that
allow
shit
her.
in the drawer.
Anyone would allow someone to wear a ring that reminds them of their past lover. That's fine, especially if they had to kill them in some kind of tragic moment. That's fine. It's especially if it's a widow. Okay, it's okay if some people hold on to small memorabilia of people that they lost in their life. That's fine, and you can love a widow. The widow can love you. Doesn't mean that the widow doesn't love you because they love their lover still, So that's more or less what I had to say. Oh, also, you can't have Mikasa putting her scarf in a drawer or whatever, just logistically, because the epilogue chapter centers around Eren's tree, and you can't have a Mikasa POV, you can't have a Jean POV, because that's not what the epilogue is. It's only 9 pages that were given to Isayama, and he centered that around the tree. You can't have Mikasa doing whatever. So, yeah, that's about it. Everything I have to say.
It's Toadie. Cool. All right. Thanks you for your valuable contribution.
Let's go.
All right. No, that was genuinely very good. All right. Let's go on to the next tweet. All right. All right. Mikasa was reduced to a simp. Mikasa was reduced to a simp Mary Sue, and every single piece of cool plot she had led to nothing. Hizuru, emancipation from Eren and Luis' relationship. Hanji became an ignorant, useless commander. Her story is a queen, but let her island. Her story is the queen, but let her island at the mercy of the Jaegers. And did wait? Is this? Story is the queen, but let her island at the mercy of the Jaegerist. I don't know what he's supposed to be saying there, and did nothing. All right. Thoughts?
Okay, so there's a lot to break down about this tweet. But to start things off, I don't really know where the Mary Sue thing comes from, because, I don't think that Mikasa is completely perfect and flawless and everyone loves her. Remember, not only does the Mary Sue have to be all-powerful, but everyone has to love her as well. And, she just has to do everything flawlessly. But in Season 2, we saw that, she was almost eaten by a Titan due to her reckless behavior to get Eren back, and Jean had to save her. So I don't really see where the Mary Sue argument comes from. I mean, yeah, she's a bit of a show-off, and she's extremely overpowered because of Acker hacks, but other than that, I can't really see that. Simp, I mean, again, I think to a certain degree you could say that she's a simp, but that would require more of like a forceful appearance almost. I think she's just a delusional dreamer, if anything. And, someone who constantly throughout the series had a love for her brother and, just was unable to get him to reciprocate those feelings because Eren had other ambitions, like seeing the ocean and, seeing an outside world free of Titans, whereas Mikasa had this, fantasized, a reality with her brother. The second one about Hanji, just being an incompetent commander, I mean, you have to give her some credit. She planned the entire attack of Liberia, so she wasn't completely useless, but as a commander, she was not good that much. And then the last part is the queen did nothing. The queen was pregnant, and technically when Historia was pregnant, she really wasn't in power, so she couldn't do anything against the Jaegerists because, she might have had her memories wiped, or, she swore an oath to Eren that we take this to the grave kind of thing. And lastly, if they're talking about 139, again, Historia is basically the commander-in-chief of the army. That's why we get that panel where she's like, and we'll finish what Eren started, or, we're there for him, to root for him. So I don't really see, there are a couple flaws in this tweet, but there are some things I also agree with, but I don't see how Historia did nothing. If anything, she just empowered their military because they were no longer, trying to commit genocide. So that's all I have to say about that tweet.
All right, thank you for your contribution. Anyone have anything to say about that? And I'll say it again. Does anyone have anything to say to that?
I was going to say about the tweet, but nothing to do with Andy's argument.
Right now. All right. Browns, what's your thoughts on the tweet?
So I'm not gonna touch the Mikasa thing. I think we already went through that. Hanji, on the other hand, as a commander, I don't think she did too bad as far as plotting and stuff goes. But what I don't appreciate that she did was there's this one obscure scene, and you may or may not remember it, but it's burned into my memory because of how much I hate it. there's this part where the citizens are asking Hanji, like, what's going on? I heard Aaron's been arrested. What's happening? Tell us, please tell us. And they're just eagerly waiting for her to say anything. And she says, don't you guys know? Things have changed. I can't just say whatever anymore. So she says something like that, and she brushes them off. That really pissed me off about her because, you know, the Survey Corps was going to be all about, like, change, and, like, they overthrew the government for keeping secrets and keeping citizens in the dark. So for her to perpetuate the same thing, I was like, all right, I don't like her anymore. So that's that. But I do think she was fine enough as a commander. Don't really respect the, you know, her...
Alliance cuckery.
Huh?
I said alliance cuckery.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. She's like, nothing will make me agree to genocide, yet, like, you know, it's genocide or be genocided, which she knows. So it's like, you apparently do agree to genocide, but only if it's your own people. And then what's the last thing? Historia did nothing. Yeah, she was intentionally sidelined, so, you know, there's not much they could show her doing. They even showed her giving birth, like, but yeah, like the last person who spoke said, she literally became the commander-in-chief. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Does anyone have anything to say about that? And if not, we'll move to Beast Boy. You have the floor. Go ahead.
First of all, Erwin and Hanji were both relatively useless. They both relied on Armin when it came down to it. When the chips were down, they both relied on Armin as a fucking fact. Second of all, on the genocide thing, there was a third way, which would stop Aaron, and then that would create something else, give them a fighting chance. And as far as the story being reduced down to nothing, I don't think so. She was safe. Oh my god, I cursed. Anyway, as far as thanks for reminding Kinda. As far as Historia, then I don't think so. She put herself in a good position because after the dust settled, they were right back on it. Like, she was right back in power. So I think actually, that's in response to Brown's.
Bro, I think we agree. Like, I think we said the same thing. You just said it a little more zesty.
Yeah, that's just the word. All right, who is alphabetically next?
I think both Erwin.
What is it? Kinda will be up next.
BAO.
Pig is next.
I haven't said anything about the. I haven't said anything about the tweet.
I said Pig is next.
BAO will be next, and I haven't said anything about the tweet. I only said it in response to Brown's thing.
Oh, okay. Proceed.
Am I next?
You said Pig is next? Yeah, good.
Okay, Hanji is, yes, a useless commander. She's just bad at her job. She says this like multiple times. She admits that she didn't give Eren a second chance.
Yep.
She admits that she has failed Erwin. She is a bad commander. Her killing, like, herself, is, like, as she says, is the sort of idea that she's always had, that you can, like, forge like alliances with the enemy and move forward to a better world. You see this with fucking Titans all the time. She, like, takes them and treats them as, like, friends and stuff. She's done that with Titans. She did that with the Marlians. She still believes in a future where everyone can, like, just be together and exist as equals. She says this, I think, in her final monologue. But she is a useless commander. She's bad. And the whole Brownsmagic mentioned the thing where she, like, turns to the citizen and says that things have changed. I can't say that. That is sort of the point. An uprising, obviously, like Marlene Emperor stated, she tortures a guy from the military police that says that generally governments come to sort of parallel that which they usurp, and that's what happens with Hanji. She can't release these confidential informations because if that happens, it would probably cause a civil war, which it does. And so because of that, she both, because of that, she can't give them that information and sort of repeats what the previous government did, which is the point. Yeah, Hanji's a bad commander, just straight up. And Historia, she did do something. In fact, there's no reason why she would be against the Jaegers. She enabled the rumbling to happen. That's like she met up with Aaron, they discussed, and she decided to get pregnant for the sake of letting the rumbling happen the way that Aaron wants it to happen. So she did do something. It's just that what she did basically made it so she can't do anything else for 9 months. So yeah, that's it.
And I have a rare disagreement with Pig here. I don't think that Hanji. Yeah, rare. I don't think that Hanji was that bad of a commander. I mean, what was she supposed to do? I mean, Aaron was set up against them to do the rumbling. He wanted to do the rumbling since the start, and he incited a conflict back in 100. What was she supposed to do? Like, realistically speaking, what was she supposed to do? The world was against her. Aaron was against her.
That is a good point. Yeah, she is okay. Oh, wait, I lost my thought process. Yeah, I mean, she was in a very difficult situation that I don't think many people would have been able to get through. However, Hanji was just factually kind of negligent on a lot of matters. She wasn't able to, like, finding a better plan against Marley. She took way too long she took way too long. Her plans were a bit too naive because she didn't really understand the scope of everything.
Fair. That's fair. That's true.
I don't think these things are necessarily her fault. Not like she isn't completely inept as a commander, but she was just given way too hard of a hand and was not able to handle it. And even if, like, you say that's not her fault, I'd say that still makes her sort of a bad commander because she was not able to take the circumstances she was given and make anything really out of it. A good commander would have been able to. I get it's a tough situation, but still, I think she just didn't do as much as she should have. And like she says many times, she failed her when she's failed Aaron.
And if you think about it, Hanji was one of the last people to talk to Aaron, like, in that prison cell.
Mm-hmm.
That was her moment to say something.
That's true. Yeah.
She had one of the last opportunities, and she flopped. Now tell me if Levi was in that cell, if you think that scene would have went the same.
I rescind my statement. No, you guys are right. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hanji is a bad commander.
The only time Brownsmagic changed my mind. Alright. Who is...
Am I up now?
Yeah. After...
Okay, after Kinda, but...
No, it's you then Kinda.
He comes before K.
No, you go, then Kinda.
Okay, I'm going?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Kinda, okay. Yeah, I don't think Mikasa was reduced down to a simp because she was a simp from the very beginning. You can't reduce somebody when they're already at that level. That's basically what I gotta say.
I disagree. I don't think Mikasa is a simp to the degree that you're talking about.
Mikasa...
From the beginning, that's...
How is Mikasa not a simp?
She's got worse.
How is Mikasa not a simp?
She's a delusional dreamer, not a simp. Simp is, someone who unhealthily obsesses over someone and, is always in their face.
No.
Always in his face.
She's
a delusional dreamer.
Mikasa was not a simp. She was a protector sort of thing, and that's what pissed Aaron off. He's like, "Get off my back, bro." It was get off my back, mom. Like, she was a delusional dreamer from the start. Not a simp. She became a simp.
Someone who...
That tweet is right there. She became a simp the moment she fucking... Oops. Let me calm down. Hold on.
Let me die with the scarf Aaron gave me and get out and cuck Jean to the absolute capacity.
What? No.
Kinda.
Kinda, you're on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with the first part. I really liked Mikasa's devotion to Eren in like season 1, 2, and 3, but season 4 is when it lost me and it just turned really toxic and it wasn't a good look for her.
Same, I agree.
Yeah, and the Hizuru thing, I don't know why Well, actually, I do know why, but I won't talk about that here. But I don't know why. I don't know why they showed us that whole Hizuru plot point if they weren't gonna do anything with it. Because I tried thinking about what it means to the story, and it essentially means nothing. Like, why did they show us that? Like, okay, she's apparently a long lost princess or something. They showed us that just to make her look like more of a Mary Sue, and it never went anywhere. I don't know what was the point of that.
I have an unpopular opinion about that. I think that works fine because obviously Mikasa added leverage to the whole, the conferences or whatnot that they would have with Hizuru. Also,
yeah, she had political power for me. Yeah,
it was piss poor. It felt lazy, to be honest with you.
And on top of that, it quote went nowhere, but you gotta respect the fact that Mikasa made her choice. I actually really appreciated that when Kiyomi was like, "All right, let's get out of here." She's like, "Nah, this is my home. I grew up here. I want to see how this ends." And the plot ends there. So I mean, you could say it was unfulfilling, but I mean, it was, in my opinion, it was, introduced, brought up later, and then wrapped up.
It was that's
it was just for a lazy cop out. Honestly, that's what it feels like. And bro, did anyone actually think
we get it. We get it. You hate Mikasa. Anyways.
No, I'm not talking about Mikasa. I'm talking.
Thank you. Anyways, yeah, Hanji, I agree with everything all of you pretty much said about Hanji. Not much to add there. But I don't think it was like bad writing, or I don't think it made the story worse. But yeah, Hanji was not that good of a commander. Historia, same with Historia. She was kind of disappointing. I don't think it necessarily makes the story worse, but she definitely was kind of a bystander as the Jaegerists took over, which
she herself
wasn't a good thing.
But okay.
In a sense.
That doesn't make any sense. She was a fully fledged Jaeger. What are you talking about? Yeah. Let the Jaegers take over.
And he meant that she was like sidelined, I think. Like she.
No, she wasn't. She was commander in chief of the Jaegers.
Okay, yeah, I'll trust that later.
But she kept like out of the story. Like there was not many panels of her.
Yeah, it's like a George Soros Illuminati situation. Hold on a second.
More like Flock had way more power than she did.
No, she didn't. No, he didn't.
Yeah,
he didn't.
Okay, let's say theoretically Historia tried to stand up to the Jaegerists. Could she have done anything?
Nope. She would get
exactly. I agree with Bea's point.
Yeah, she wouldn't. Yeah, because the just like if Flock tries to stand up to the Jaegerists, it's such a stupid question. It's like saying, well, what if Flock tries to stand up to the Jaegerists? Well, no, of course it wouldn't work.
Flock controls the Jaegers. Flock.
No, they would listen.
It's like the Trump movement.
They wouldn't listen to Flock if he told them to disband. But he would listen.
There's nobody in the world that would say that.
Technically, Aaron is the leader.
Guys, exactly. Thank you. The leader of the Jaegers is freaking Eren Yeager.
Yeah.
Not Flock. They call themselves the Jaegers.
Okay. Let me ask you this in the context of the story. Okay, if Flock is the leader as you claim, who handed Eren the jacket?
Flock.
Exactly. So therefore, Eren's the leader.
Good point.
Yes.
Historia was a bystander. She was
not. Okay,
she was an opportunist.
Let me react to the tweet, and you guys can discuss it. I didn't say my thoughts on it yet. All right. Let's do this. Okay, so as far as Mikasa being a simp, we already covered that. She's absolutely a simp. Her being a Mary Sue. This I used to get very mad at EDs about. Ending haters about, because they say she's a Mary Sue. It isn't until I got Twitter and I realized people were calling her an innocent angel. So I'm actually going to remove some guilt for you guys for saying this, but she's absolutely not a Mary Sue. It's been shown on numerous occasions that she's a depraved, violent monster, and she herself said that she's an evil person on multiple occasions. So I don't know why EDs like to lie to themselves.
Depraved.
Yeah, she's depraved.
Depraved. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, she's depraved. She said that she's evil, and so EDs are responsible for this misinformation about her being a Mary Sue, because think about it, she's stronger than all the men. She's the strongest one there. She saves the world. She's supposedly beautiful, and she has 0 flaws. Her love for Eren is beautiful, and she's not a violent, unempathetic, depraved human being. So of course any haters are going to say she's a Mary Sue. But I'm here to tell you, no, in fact, she's not a Mary Sue, and she knows she's not a Mary Sue. She didn't try to hide it. She knows for a fact. Now, as far as the Hizuru thing, I think Brown said it the best. Like, I think that was pretty good what Brown said. Hanji very touched on that. I think that she was, I agree she was a better commander. Now, as far as Historia, Historia, while she wasn't shown in the final arc as much as people would have wanted her, she still was extremely influential. And in fact, she was the only person who could have made the ideal ending. Assuming, just humoring the EDs for a second, assuming Eren did indeed win, the only way Eren wins is with Historia, because he needs someone who would support the rumbling while simultaneously being kind to his friends, right? Because he wanted his friends to live all happy lives, so it requires 2 things. His country must be safe, so the rumbling, and they need not be hanged for treason upon arrival, because they are, in fact, traitors, and they see themselves as traitors, so that's not a discussion. They're traitors. So the only person who is in that situation to support the rumbling and, have affinity with Eren's friends and allow them to live would be Historia. They said the Jaegers took over. If the Jaegers took over the island, how are the friends still alive? Historia is the only person who did that. In fact, the last chapter, Connie says that Historia, not the Jaegers, Historia promised Connie's family safety, even though we all know that Flock and the Jaegers wanted to kill Connie. So Historia wasn't shown, neither was Eren, but both of those individuals exerted heavy influence in the story. So to me, I don't think it's lazy. I don't think it's bad. I don't care. This seems to be just a personal preference that they want Eren and his story to be shown as far as panels go, but I am perfectly happy and content to see them, use their influence to move around the story. So that'd be my take on that tweet.
Yeah. So first of all, the Hizuru thing, that was, first of all, there was no stakes. There was no, is Mikasa gonna leave to go to Hizuru? No one thought that for even a second.
I did.
You did? Okay, then I thought you were intelligent. I guess I was wrong. First of all, she's a simp. Second of all, that's her country for years and years and years. And now she's just gonna run away to Hizuru? Are you out of your mind? The 2 people she cares about most is Armin and Eren. And she's just gonna run to go to Hizuru? The people she doesn't even know? Like, come on. Come on now.
Took them with her. She didn't stay just for Armin and Eren. She stayed for her country. She's in some sense a patriot, which is kind of hard to imagine these actions.
Yeah.
She wasn't.
Why? If you actually thought that you're not as intelligent as I thought you were. Anyway, I think this wraps up the tweet. I don't have anything to say.
All right. Good to know. All right, did everyone get a chance? Oh, Mira, did you?
Alright. So, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not even gonna talk about this whole Hizuru and all that stuff. But what I will say is that when I scrolled down on this tweet, the first thing that I saw was Ackerman equal Mary Sue. So, this is what I gotta say. First of all, pretty much the entire clan got wiped out by King Fritz. So they can't be Mary Sue's if they got negged. Ain't that crazy? But in all seriousness, like if you literally go to season 1, because of Mikasa's mistake of overacting with her emotions in the mission, she made this man Levi get knocked out, can't go to action for a whole season. Ain't that crazy? He was out for season 2. Now, I'm not gonna say anything on the Hanji and Historia stuff because that was pretty much covered by everybody. But what I will say is that if it takes Levi to really get back into action after an entire season, that's how you know they're not Mary Sue's, bro.
Exactly, bro. So that, and you know what? In the manga, she said that she said it's my fault that the commander got injured. I need to take responsibility for my actions. And people still say she's a perfect angel. All right.
And if you literally go to Levi's character introduction by Petra, she goes over why Levi is not the perfect person that you would think he is. He's a midget. He cleans all the time. He got terrible manners, etc.
Oh, bro.
Kenny's like Mary Sue.
Wait. Yeah, Kenny's a Mary Sue.
Oh yeah, Kenny's obviously a Mary Sue indeed.
Obviously. All right, man, we didn't catch that. Hey, Kinda, did you have a?
He's the biggest Mary Sue. He survived that cave fall, obviously.
Yeah, of course, bro.
Yeah.
Kenny,
You
the
guys
biggest
bring
mystery.
the two other Ackermans up because now that actually just convinced me that Mikasa is a Mary Sue. Because Mikasa was in that cave too, but Eren protected her, so fine. But I mean,
I don't know what you're saying. Go home, you're drunk.
I'm
Eren,
saying
next
that Mikasa's a Mary Sue. You guys' bad points just made me believe that she is one now.
Like Browns.
Kinda,
And honestly, I would have wanted to see.
being depraved.
Browns, go to
I would have
sleep.
wanted to see Kenny and Mikasa interact. It's actually a shame we never got that. That would have been interesting.
Not really.
We should have an Ackerman panel.
Kinda, did you have a point of contention about me saying Mikasa was depraved?
Depraved is extreme, man.
Is it really extreme?
Bro, it's Attack on Titan.
Yeah,
Everything's extreme.
I wouldn't even call
one of the
Annie
most moral
depraved, and I don't
characters
like
in-
you
Annie.
wouldn't call Annie depraved?
What?
We spent Annie killed a
Actually,
quarter million
nah.
people.
Actually, maybe I would. Never mind.
She killed a quarter million people in cold blood. Well, not cold blood. She killed a quarter million people,
Annie was trafficked, bro.
and said she'd do it again. Of course, she's depraved.
I don't know. I think it's an extreme word. I'm sorry if I'm wrong.
He's done extreme sins.
Bro, it's
No.
Attack on Titan. Everything's extreme.
No, but like when there's evil, bad, there are levels, right? Depraved.
Yeah.
Depraved makes
And
it
you
seem
want to know what's
awful.
another level? The fact that Levi is the strongest human yet got negged by twisting his ankle. Ain't that crazy?
Evil.
The only
Yeah.
depraved character in the show is King Fritz, like the original one.
First off, King Chris is just a normal guy. Number one.
No,
Two.
he fed human bodies to his children. What are you talking
Okay,
about?
that was
No, that's not real. That's not real. After the extra pages,
Real.
it was
That's
confirmed
real.
that was
That's real.
a fabrication.
No.
Nope. It was a fabrication.
No,
King Chris
no.
is depraved. Oh, of course he's depraved, but so is Mikasa. Is he more depraved than Mikasa? Well, of course.
Well,
But they're both
This
depraved.
doesn't relate to the tweet. No. This is what happens, and then defenders forget this. This is why I do not like the extra pages. They made King Fritz somehow a less badder guy than he actually was. He did not feed children to, or feed their mother to the children. He died by the spear. That was done by other people,
Is that
not
a
Fritz.
joke?
Oh.
The ending didn't say that's what happened.
Is that a
That's the
joke?
extra pages.
Andy, is
No.
that a joke?
No, that was like a vision or whatever. Like
It was the vision.
Andy,
I think.
Andy, did Eren also escape from Reiner in another timeline? What?
No,
Alright.
no, dude.
Oh, okay. So it's
You know what I'm saying.
I do
Alright,
know
next
this thing is dumb.
page
It's
one.
genuinely brain. Media literacy is dead. If you believe that, media literacy is dead.
I don't know what to tell you, man. It showed King Fritz getting speared.
No, but the Bible says, "Don't answer a fool in his folly." I'm not gonna touch this. All right. And did you have anything else to say?
No. I will be seeing you after the podcast, but no.
Yeah, come, God, yeah, I know you live, bro. Don't worry, I'll take care of you. Yeah, I'll just allow someone to set you on fire and say, "Oh, hey, you set Kinda on fire. You're bad," and then try to defend said person from getting kicked after, and we'll see whether or not I'm depraved. All right. Last tweet, which is actually a tweet from me, so I won't be sharing my thoughts on it since I'm the one who tweeted it. Also, Brownsmagic, if you want to add one of your own tweets after, you're more than welcome to do that. All right.
Are we gonna do any of Benja's tweets? Yeah, he had a really good one.
We're running out of time, and our sister's waiting for us back upstairs. I'm posting in general, so you guys can see it as well. But here's a tweet. Tweet is, Thank you for your honesty. Yes, your attitude and how you approach the show is a problem. Entertainment should be a last.
You're a million miles away, my guy.
This dude faded out, disappeared from the third dimension.
Hold on. Can you guys hear me better?
Yeah.
Thank you for your honesty. Yes, your attitude and how you approach the show is a problem. Entertainment should be the last reason you watch. Browns, you're alphabetically first, so go.
I don't know what that means. What is
well,
that?
technically, Andy is first.
Okay, context. If I can maybe find. I said, basically, the tweet is saying, actually, I think I have a better tweet I could use for this.
Yeah, I think you should pick a better one because
I have a better one. I have a better one. Hold on, I sent to Beast Boy. Hold on. You guys are going to love this.
Send it to my phone.
Yeah, I did send it to your phone. Here it is.
Don't send it to my phone.
Here it is. No, this is the one. This is the one. All right. Can you guys hear me good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Let me read this.
Oh, I hate that bitch revealed or whatever.
Fun is not the priority. Understanding the story and Aaron is. We are too responsible to have fun. We do not have that luxury. We must focus on understanding the true Aaron and not experimenting with different versions of him.
Okay. So, I'll start, I guess. So, understanding the story. I don't know the context of what he's talking about fun, but I'm guessing he's talking about...
Fun in general. Like, the context of this was the context of the tweet is the guy saying he wanted to make different fan fiction, different versions of Aaron in fan fictions, but what my intent is that, but also just watching AOT for fun in general should not be the priority.
Wait, I just read the thread. Beluga, sorry,
okay.
Ever.
Okay, but listen, is it really our decision to define how someone wants to, what they go to watch an anime? Is, saying that no fun is allowed. You can't have enjoyment and say like the entire anime is fun or the entire anime is sad or the entire anime is nihilistic. Like, I mean, it's in the eye of the beholder who is watching the show or reading the manga. For like me as an example, I think it's the worst thing I've ever seen / read. So when you boil down to what this person is saying, I don't really see the damage in, if they want to make Aaron a fucking pretty princess, then, that's...
Not Andy disappearing from the third dimension too.
Hold on.
Yeah, I got destroyed in the quote tweets. That's fine though.
Yeah. But you have to. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's not really our job to talk about if someone wants to enjoy something. Like how they want to enjoy the story, I guess. Not how they want to enjoy something, how they want to enjoy the story.
He's the police, you forgot?
Yeah, no, and here's why. Exactly. If for those of you who go to public school, your teacher said, hey, read this, write a report, or read something, see what you think about it. If you were to go to your teacher and say, hey, teach, actually, I find this boring, is she going to care? Is she going to be like, oh, shoot, you find it boring? How about you just not read this groundbreaking, important literature? Just do something else. Play Nintendo. No, the teacher's going to say, listen, maybe boring. That's actually not boring. This piece of literature, it actually has deep historical, cultural, societal, and personal value. So read it. It could be entertaining, great, but that's not the main purpose of it. The main purpose of it is for the things I just mentioned.
Okay, great. But even so, you have to understand that some people will just make their own opinion and connection for things, instead of just like, the story's, context is historic and, informational. Not everyone's going to make that connection. Some people are going to look at Attack on Titan and say, oh man, this is goofy cornball. I love, Connie or something like that. Like, it's really not up to you to decide how someone wants to view the story, regardless of if it's right or wrong. It's still their opinion, and they're entitled to it.
If someone if someone, you know, if when someone reads Animal Farm, they're not reading it rightly. They're not reading it purely for the entertainment value. They're reading it to understand the world better. Right?
I disagree. No, that's not true. Because I, as a student, when I read Animal Farm, I thought it was pretty goofy. You know, kids perceive things differently when they read or watch something.
Yeah, kids perceive things differently. So, Doc, this is why I say you don't understand the story. Because you just demonstrated that you don't understand animal. You didn't understand Animal Farm.
You can say that if you want, but it's not your decision to make.
We're talking about the value of understanding the story. Right now, we're talking about the value of understanding the story. And I think Andy is saying that it's up to the person how much they need to understand the story. I don't need to understand the story. I don't need to understand Mikasa. I can just say she's a dog and have a good time and live my life.
No. So
having a good time is not being paramount goal.
I will give a very good concrete example. So, Beluga, we'll take you for example. You are an ending defender. You believe that the story had a lot of core understandings and beliefs to them, and that, you know, there is a cycle to be upheld. There are, you know, values, and, you know, everything correlates with one another, and the characters all come together. Then there's me on the opposite side of the spectrum, who believes everything was for nothing, because the destruction of the island makes every single mission, everything that happened, as far as, you know, the journey of a whole goes, makes it all for nothing. It's just all pointless. And because of that, in my opinion, that makes it, everything that happened in the story, nothing, because nothing was accomplished. Destruction of the island.
He has the right opinion.
It's a philosophy now.
Let me. Maybe this would be better. If you go up to your teacher, right, you say, "Hey, teach, this math book is actually boring. I don't want to learn this math." Is she gonna say to you, "Oh, that's fine. Don't read the math book," right? No.
If the math is not math.
If the math book is fun, then it's fun.
It's not math, though, Beluga.
It's not a crash course.
It's not a crash course.
One at a time, please. Please roast me one at a time.
It's not a crash course, though,
Brown's
Beluga.
is actually up next anyway, so you talked for long enough, Andy. All right. Go ahead, Browns.
Cake is just really weird to me. It's like, it's like, I don't know, like some of those people who, you know, let's just say you guys read fanfics. I don't know if you do, whatever. You're reading a 12-chapter Piku X Hanji or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, why did I say Piku? Anyways, okay.
That's the name of Japanese.
You scroll down and there's some weirdo in the comments like, as if Peak would ever do something like that. That is so not in character. Like, it's a fanfic. You come here for an AU. You come here for, you know, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be, imagine if that did happen. LOL. It's not supposed to be historically accurate. Oh no, this fanfic's terrible because it takes place in France, and in France the wheel on the car is on the other side, and you whatever. Like, none of that stuff matters, and you're making it into like, you have to follow the quadratic formula.
My point is that people are too irresponsible to enjoy AUs because they don't comprehend the actual version. That's my point.
That's like the weirdest thought process ever. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's like
Hold on, no. Let's do this. Let's do it this way. Like, say for example, you know, someone made an AU about how if math worked differently, right? But if you don't understand how math actually works, then you can't go into the AU. Once you get down pat how math works in the
that's different, bro. That's so much different. Math is strictly like this factual thing where if you do correctly, you will get this answer. Reading any story ever if I tell you a story about let me think of something real quick. Ring Around the Rosie, right? Like if I sang you that song,
Yep.
half of the people in the world think that's a cute little child song. Mm-hmm. The other half of people understand that that song is a metaphor for death. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Everyone dies. But you have people who don't understand that, right? And just because they don't understand the double meaning, does that mean that they can't have fun with the song? They can't sing the song now because they don't understand both the literal and the figurative or metaphorical meaning of the song? They can't sing it anymore now? Like, that's really weird to say, you can't make a fanfic because you don't know what Aaron would do for real in that situation because you don't know his character. You don't know what he would do in that situation either, let's be honest. Because it's a fanfic. Because it's not real.
Well, it's not even that. I'm saying people don't understand the actual story they're given. So what I'm saying is that experimenting with AUs is not wise or conducive to understanding the true nature of the character.
That's weird, bro. Like, I've never heard anything like that in my life. I'm sorry. That's like the strangest thing I've ever heard in my life.
All right, let's hear what Beast Boy has to say now. And then go to Pig.
Beast Boy has talked so much.
Beast Boy's already talked. It's Pig's turn.
Pig, go ahead and talk, bro. I want to hear what you have to say.
People mean Pig are going to disagree. Do it, Pig. I'm ready.
Hello? Can you hear me? Okay, it works.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so basically the thing is, the reason that I believe was saying this, so let's take the Animal Farm example. You are absolutely allowed to pick up Animal Farm and just read it and think that the pig, or I think it's like Napoleon or something, and think that he's a fucking hilarious bozo that's doing something. You're absolutely allowed to do that. You're allowed to take literature that has deep, profound value and just read it for entertainment. However, you are not allowed to then read Animal Farm, see Napoleon as this goofy bozo, and then criticize the work as if you understood it whilst you were reading it for pure entertainment. If you're reading something for pure entertainment, you cannot criticize the work because entertainment is entirely subjective and it doesn't matter how good the story actually is. You can enjoy it or you cannot enjoy it independent.
I see. Okay, you know what? I think I agree with you in the literal sense. Like, I literally agree with what you're saying. However, I understand human nature. Well, I'm not saying you don't understand, but I'm saying I understand. I understand human nature, and so I know that if someone reads it, they're going to want to voice their opinion about it. So what I'm trying to do is, it's more of a preventative measure. So if I try to, shame people for reading entertainment, they don't read for entertainment. Guess what? Their opinions, they don't share their thoughts on it anymore. That's basically what the purpose of it is.
That's true. The thing is just like this, the sentence itself, you shouldn't read AOT for entertainment, is just missing the part where it says you shouldn't criticize AOT if you read it purely for entertainment. Because that's the actual what you're trying to say. And without that piece of context, it doesn't make much sense. Because you're allowed to watch AOT for entertainment. You're not allowed to watch AOT for entertainment and then think that you understand.
Go.
All right, you know what? Yeah. I wish I could edit it, but I can't.
Yeah, that's right.
Fair.
Okay.
Kinda, did you have anything to say? I mean, my mind. If you want to say anything, Kinda, it's your time to rock.
Yeah. Hard disagree. If I wasn't entertained by Attack on Titan, it wouldn't be my favorite piece of fiction of all time. If you're making like a smaller point, like I understand if you're making a smaller point that when you're like consuming fiction or media or whatever, you should understand the like underlying themes and messages, and you shouldn't just be like, just ooh, Titans are fighting or whatever. If you're making that point, I would kind of agree with you. Like a big reason I like Attack on Titan so much is like the darker themes in the story. It's not just because they're cool Titans fighting. But if you're saying you should not let me read this again. Your priority should not be entertainment. Hard disagree with that. Like at the end of the day, you consume media, you consume fiction to enjoy yourself. It's not math. It's not the Bible. Like you don't need to memorize it and go through it with like a fine-tuned comb. Like
You do need to go through it. No, boy, I'm gonna stop you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Detailed conversations we've had that you don't understand.
Your mic is like going in and out.
I said, do you have to go through AO2 with the fine-tooth comb? And I'm surprised that after the long...
Your mic is still muffled. Like,
is it better now?
Yep. Now it's good.
Okay, I said, I'm surprised that after the long, detailed conversations that we've had that you would say you don't have to go over AO2 with a fine-tooth comb. Especially considering that you're an AoE bro who strains at the smallest of details.
I do it because I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it.
Wait, so you don't think AoE is real? You're just doing it
because it's the pride. No, I think it's real.
Okay,
but
so
I'm not saying it's not the priority. I'm not saying like you in your tweet you said fun is not the priority. Understanding the story is.
Yes.
I would disagree with that. I would say if enjoying the story is the first priority, and then going over it is the second.
Why?
Priority.
Because here's the thing: like learning something is not always enjoyable. As I said, learning math, learning history, learning science.
Is it learning though?
It's not. Yeah, if you're not. Yeah, AOT is definitely there to teach lessons, and so it's also social commentary for sure.
Like I said, Attack on Titan. I'm pretty sure, until the day I die, Attack on Titan it is and will remain my favorite piece of fiction ever. But having said that, I'm not gonna pretend like it's some profound, groundbreaking piece of literature that should be taught to every generation moving forward.
Okay, what is?
I mean, you have like Shakespeare and all that people go through in schools. I don't know. I'm not much of a classical literature.
Yeah, I've read a few classical books in my day, bro. Trust me, this is pretty good.
Especially with the ending that we got, I definitely would not.
The ending only elevates it, but that's a conversation for another.
Hard disagree, but yeah, a conversation for another day.
Apparently, Beast Boy had something to say.
So,
go ahead.
You're a Christian, right?
Yeah.
So, being that, what's the most important book?
The Bible.
So, if someone misunderstands Attack on Titan, but they understand the Bible, it's not an issue. It's not a real issue. If someone understands, hold on. If someone understands Animal Farm, but they don't understand Attack on Titan, that's fine. Attack on Titan is at the end all be all book. Therefore, there are definitely books. There are definitely series that you can misunderstand. Not every anime is supposed to be the end all be all. So the Bible is the only book that the priority is to learn from. But anything else is entertainment.
No. Like I said, a math book is not supposed to be for entertainment. A history book is supposed to be for entertainment. A workout regimen is supposed to be for entertainment. The story is supposed to convey the story. Okay, the story is just learning. It's just learning in a different. Fables, right? You guys all heard of fables, right? Fables, proverbs, right? Those are, they're stories. They're fictional, but they have a grander meaning. That's not their main purpose to entertain. And I think everyone culturally understands that. Everyone culturally understands that The Boy Who Cried Wolf is not supposed to be entertaining. Or it can be entertaining. If it's entertaining, great. But its main priority is to share something. It's to learn. It's not supposed to be entertaining, right? It's not the main priority.
So, like Big said, what you're trying to say is that if you don't understand the deeper meaning, then don't, comment on it. Talk about what you know. If you can only see the surface level, oh boy, and then wolf, and then oh no, and boom, then you're not, I guess, invited to have intellectual discussions about the story, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
What you're saying, I agree.
Yeah, but it's nothing to do with fan fiction. Yeah. The contest was about fan fiction.
Well, I was saying that we don't have the luxury, right? Well, maybe. Okay, let's.
First of all, we made yams. We made yams. What do you mean we don't have the luxury?
Saying, if you don't have a grasp on the true nature of Aaron's character, experimenting with different versions of him is detrimental to understanding the true Aaron. However, that was my point in saying that.
Okay, it is detrimental by principle, but we're talking about the value of us understanding Aaron in the first place. Because Paul doesn't need to understand Attack on Titan, right?
He's dead.
Right, but Paul wouldn't need to understand Attack on Titan.
Okay.
So that means understanding time is meaningless as long as you get other things in life. So,
Does Paul hold on. Does Paul understand astrophysics?
These boys clicking
no.
so hard.
Okay, so if Paul doesn't understand astrophysics, if a student of astrophysics were to say, "Hey, actually, Professor, I don't need to learn astrophysics. Paul doesn't learn astrophysics, and this doesn't lead to salvation. So I'm just gonna entertain myself here. I'm actually not gonna learn anything."
Then.
Huh?
What? Hey, my advice to him.
Here's my counter argument to that, though, Beluga. Okay, listen to this, all right? So, let's say that 2 students are taking astrophysics, right? And there's a specific way you're supposed to perceive astrophysics.
Here we go. Sorry, I'll unmute you after Beast Boy. He was talking. You interrupted him.
My advice to him:
sorry,
bro. In the professional field, like don't talk about astrophysics, but you can still put on Neil deGrasse Tyson and enjoy it, and talk shit, talk crap. But
I agree.
Don't try to be a professional. When someone makes a fan fiction, that's like Brown said. Most of that is intentionally not doing it. Are there some fan fictions that try to stay within the characters? Yeah. Most fan fictions are just basically taking the name of the characters and the setting and then making their own characters. That's most fan fiction.
Okay, Beast Boy. Let me try to explain this in a way that only me and you will understand, because everyone else is very confused by the conversation. Understanding the Bible is that is something that everyone needs to understand, right? Everyone does not need to understand AOT. I agree with that. Everyone here agrees with that. I'm saying, and I made an aberration. I'm saying that if you want to talk about AOT, if you want your opinion, if you want your opinion to be taken seriously, if you don't want to get shamed and laughed at for sharing your opinion, which you should be shamed for making your opinion, if you watch it for entertainment. If you watch it for entertainment, and you're not trying to understand the story, you should be shamed and humiliated for sharing your opinion. You should not share your opinion. You should study the story and then get back to us. You don't need to read AOT. You don't need to understand AOT. But if you watch for entertainment, then you should keep your mouth closed.
Okay, first of all, I think there are 2 things of opinions. I think 1, people's personal opinion, and 2, what they try to impose on other people. Like you're trying to impose your ED stuff. So I think first of all, they're making a fan fiction. They're not making an opinion piece. They're not making an article. They're making a fan fiction. So it's absurd for you to say that that's an opinion piece.
What I was saying was that making fan fiction deteriorates your understanding of the story, and that's what we go back to. Right. Do you need AOT?
That's only
we already addressed all that. No one wants to.
But that's only if you want to respect in the story.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. Well then yeah. But that's very much. Okay. So I rest my case.
Andy, go for it.
So let's talk about the
sorry for muting.
Oh, you're fine. The astrophysicist example. So if you take 2 astrophysicists and you compare them, one on the other, the professor. Let's say you're the professor. The professor's presenting the formula or the class, and that class is basically the story of AOT. So because he's presenting, the class, that is the one way to do it. However, during astrophysicist in the coming months, students come up with, new things that were undiscovered about astrophysicists, or, new formulas, or, things that are awarded patents. That right there is, these AOT, fan endings, or these AOT, pieces of literature that are made by other people. You yourself cannot control what people think of the story, because there could be readers like me who read for 10 years and then they see the ending and they believe that the ending all along was about Eren and Mikasa, getting together. Or there could be another person who says, well, the ending was actually just the destruction of the island. So, with that in mind...
Well, Andy, I'm not trying to say everyone needs to be an ED or think like me. I am, unlike 99% of the fandom, I understand that I am very fallible and I've changed my mind multiple times throughout my course of watching AOT. What I was trying to say was that you have to understand the story. And that's my problem. If I'm a fallible person, I want to learn from other people. I've learned from ending haters, ending defenders, AoE bros. But the one thing that all people had in common, the people that I learned from, people I changed my mind about, was they actually took time to understand the story. You can't teach me anything. You can't correct any bad ideology if you don't understand the story. If you're watching complete entertainment, you have nothing to give me at all. I have nothing to give to the fandom.
I mean, but I don't really think that's your call. I think that people will perceive things how they do, and you know.
Yeah, I think you're understanding. As I said, I don't want a uniform. Well, at the moment, I don't want a uniform opinion. What do you want then? What's your ultimate goal with this whole thing? That's what I just said. Like I just said, I learned from AoE bros, from ending haters. But as I said, they all understood the story. So I'm saying, if you don't understand the story, I can't learn anything from you. I can't correct any bad opinions because you don't know anything about Halo T. So I'm not saying we should have, everyone should think like me. I'm saying understand the story so we can all learn from each other and understand the story on a deeper level. You see what I'm saying? Not having
No, I don't, because how do you determine if someone understands the story or not?
How can determine? Very simply, there's this thing called reading comprehension. If you read Aaron saying, "His story, I really love you. I want to make babies with you," and someone says he hates the story and he wants to hang her, that means you don't understand the story. Very simply, the text has a literal meaning. There's also subtext. There's themes. There's, as Browns was saying, visual storytelling. It gets complicated as it goes along, but to understand the story, you have to understand deeply all of those things going at once. So
but then there are millions of people who watch Invader's video, and their perception of the story, they read the text, yeah, but they also read the mental gymnastics and believed it to be reality. So do they not understand the story because they're saying
if Invaders told them false information that contradicts what happened in the story, of course they don't understand the story. And as I said, many EDs don't understand the story. I just suspect that the EDs were saying that Mikasa is a Mary Sue. That means they don't understand the story. Because Mikasa clearly said she was an evil person on multiple occasions, and Isayama, hinted at the fact that she's an evil person on multiple occasions. So of course.
All right.
Brown, did you have a tweet you wanted to share?
No.
All right. So, I guess you can cut the recording now. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for coming on.
But what about me?
Yep. Have a good day or night, everybody.
But what about me?
Thanks for coming, Browns.
Oh, no problem.
Everybody forgot about me.
You did?
Cool.
Nah, you're the goat.
Fred gets ready to come on. Freaking. And tell him I won't debate him. I promise. I know he's scared of debating.
Okay. This was a fun time, but please next time, have the tweets ahead of time and limit 1 or 2 minutes.
I did have the tweets ahead of time.
Wait, hold on, everybody. Opposing opinions can only exist when you don't understand it. So understand it.